Hello, my name is Jimmy Kalo, and class is now in session again. I'm just gonna embody this teacher persona. I will. All right, I will. Okay. Anyway, so I I just wanted to talk about something that I felt the other day, and I feel like nobody's taught me this before. And by sharing this, I hope it can help someone. I mean, it's a reach, right? If it can help somebody, but if you're feeling this type of way, then welcome to the video. So I wanted to talk about how two emotions can exist at once and how you can be comfortable and actually accept that it can both coexist. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because in the past weeks, I've experienced some sense of, let me just check my microphone. There you go. In the past weeks, I've experienced multiple emotions at once, and it kind of made me crazy, to be honest. So I've been kind of reflecting things about that. So what happened was that I was I was on the I'm going to be releasing my fourth song during that time. So I think like it's days before the song is going to be released, and then something happened. Our dog got into the vet, and then of course it was a really heavy time for us. And so I went home and I helped a little bit. I helped the family basically to get through it. And there's so much emotions involved in that because like the just the emotional weight of it, and then the financial expenses, and then well, just the fact that it's kind of scary also. So there's so many things happening, and then of course I'm also prepping up for my song release, which excites me a lot because I love this song so much. The song is "Only Make Love," which is now available everywhere, by the way. So stream it after watching this video, okay? Yeah, I feel it was important for me to make sure that I get to experience both because there's just something about canceling out an emotion just because you are experiencing one thing that doesn't sit well with me. And I've been through a lot of situations before where I have to kind of let go of one thing just to prioritize one. You know what I mean? I think the the pitfall of that is that you don't get to experience life holistically if you allow it to be that way. And so I feel, I mean, this is a quote that I cringe on before. Is that is that how you phrase it? I felt cringe with this quote before. Guys, my English is starting to get bad. It's it's it says emotions demand to be felt. But I feel honestly like in the past years, I feel it's me who have been trying to avoid all of these feelings because I try to shush down some of those emotions that I feel are not too important at the time, just so I could survive a specific situation. But I think I've grown enough as a person to make sure that I get to experience both. And I think the apart from those that I was able to mention, the song and our dog Sushi being hospitalized, there are other things that are happening in the background which I am not too comfortable sharing right now. Also, things that are happening in my head, but I think both are very big moments that I need to be, present in and a part of. And I feel like it demands that I also get to be present in both. Not because I'm compelled to do it, but because I as a human being need to see how I could go through those things without sacrificing the other. Otherwise, one of those two emotions will just wait in the shadows if you ignore them. And I feel like that's a toxic way to go about life because I'm not one to conceal a problem, you know. I've always faced them, but it's always at the expense of me facing a problem before the others first. I mean, that's sure that's fine, right? But I guess we're talking about like a time when those things can coincide, like a happier emotion and a sadder emotion on the other side is what I'm talking about. So of course with the release of my song, I'm very excited. Of course nervous at the same time, right? But it's my fourth song. Like that's a huge feat for me. And of course I wouldn't let my other side of things affect that. But of course it did, you know, like at the back of my head, I'm still worrying, but I still needed to celebrate it. I wanted to post on social media about it. And yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of people kind of also misunderstand a lot of times because when they see that you are worrying about something or sad about something or you're feeling down about something, they wouldn't allow you to actually feel the other ups of life. You know what I mean? And a huge part of that is attributed to how social media works because that's how people would feel. But for me, I think at the time it was important for me to do it because for me being able to practice that means being able to practice that muscle also because I feel that's like emotional weightlifting also, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? We have to exercise how we deal with our emotions. Otherwise, these parts of our body will not be able to move or it's going be, to stay at the same level that you've always been, you know? So I think exercising it more is important, and I feel like we experience a lot of these, you know, polarizing emotions all the time, but we don't just act on it. At least for me, I can speak on behalf of everybody, but that's something that I'm still learning, and I'm very open to just being able to get it done. You know, I think a part of the process also is judging your feelings, like not giving yourself some grace in order to process things. And I feel like the more you practice not judging your feelings, I feel that's also the time where you're able to ride the wave, right, without you getting drowned. And I think that's very very important. That's something that I'm still trying to learn, obviously, but I feel compelled to share it because emotional maturity is something that I feel like I've always had it, but just in some aspects of life only, right? So yeah, but also you get to enjoy life better because of it. So because I'm able to process the emotions properly, both of them, both very very heavy emotions on the positive and slightly negative side of things, I can process it faster, you know? Like I get to move on with the things that I need to do. I don't get stuck, you know what I mean, with things that aren't supposed to be a part of the process. And I am able to know what best to do when faced in the same kind of situation in the future. So, I mean, I'm no expert, right? But I'm saying that I feel like it's now conscious for me, or I'm more conscious about it now. I think lastly, one note, the third idea is that so the first one being letting your feelings coexist, and then the second is that you need to practice it more. But the third one really is that I feel that these emotions it needs an exit plan, you know, and that's why you need to process it. So if I don't get to process the two polarizing emotions at once, then it's gonna be stuck here, you know, like it's not going to be able to move around, and I won't be able to move around because I'm stuck within the same kind of feeling or dilemma because it's just there. So what I did was I wrote about it in my journal. Like I specifically wrote this entry like 2 weeks ago, and those specific words, feeling two emotions at the same time is okay. So for people who are afraid of doing that, please just do so because it's it's an important facet that we all need to learn. So in whatever ways or form that you can do it, just try it. Just write it first. If you want, to create a playlist that has, two polarizing emotions, also that's also fine. But in order for you to process it, you have to have an outlet. You have to be able to release it soon. So don't hold it in. Don't hold back in processing those emotions, because your brain needs some space. I think we need to free up some space in here, because the last thing that we want to happen is for you to just explode mentally. And honestly, that's what's been happening to me. But that's why I'm trying to do like emotional regulation also. But we need to be able to give our brain some space to breathe, and I feel like we owe it to ourselves to make sure that we get to do that. And so we have to make sure that that's always we're always in check. We have to make sure that we're always in check for that. Um, yeah, so I think the thing about emotional multitasking, for one, right, is that it's tiring. What I wrote here is that it takes a lot of energy to be able to process it, because the reality is that managing multiple emotions at the same time is already like a task of its own. What more if you add the task of actually processing it, right? And be able to understand what to do with it. And for a lot of people, it would take some time to be able to practice that fully well. So give yourself some grace. I'm sharing this because I feel this is somehow overlooked when it comes to just trying to understand how our emotions work. And I do hope that with more conversations like these, we get to be more aware that this is actually possible. So that's it. Class is now dismissed. And I hope you get to bring this with you somewhere down the road. Bye, Toodles.